Welcome to Christian Nutrition, the show where we review every single episode of VeggieTales chronologically. And by we, I mean just me. VeggieTales had 10 episodes released in the 1990s. They range from Where's God When I'm Scared in 1993 to LarryBoy and the Rumor Weed in 1999. This was truly VeggieTales at its most popular, and for good reason, for all the silliness, the wit, the new takes on a Bible story, and most importantly, the music. But which episodes are the best? Which ones are the must-see episodes from the 1990s? Let's count down the top 5 VeggieTales episodes from the 90s. Now, I want to remind you that this is my personal opinion, and I actually would like to hear your opinion down in the comments. Let's get started. Number 5, LarryBoy and the Rumor Weed. While the Fib from Outer Space is LarryBoy's most well-known episode, I found Rumor Weed to be a marked improvement over Fib. Sure, LarryBoy still doesn't defeat the main baddie on his own, but he isn't completely worthless as we see him actually give his all to defeat the Rumor Weed. This was a stark contrast to the dim-witted version of LarryBoy that we saw in Fib, where he didn't even recognize an alien when he saw one. Like, it doesn't look like other veggies. Anyways, plus who can forget the LarryBoy theme song? An instant classic, to be sure. Check out my review of Rumor Weed if you haven't already. Number 4, Are You My Neighbor? This was the 3rd episode for VeggieTales, and this for me is when VeggieTales figured out who they were and what worked. The first half of the episode is Flibberolu, which was completely done in rhyme and was witty to boot. Then came the silly song that sparked a generation to ask the hard question of life: where is my hairbrush? And do I need a hairbrush if I don't have any hair? Cap off the episode with Junior in space, a giant popcorn ball, and this classic tune that will never leave your head.
I can be your friend any day in any weather, or we can be friends and play together.
And what you have is VeggieTales really finding their groove. Check out my review of the episode to see more. Number 3, Dave and the Giant Pickle. What makes Dave and the Giant Pickle so great that it takes the number 3 spot? It gave us our first look at LarryBoy and has countless references to pop culture and the infamous lip song. Dave and the Giant Pickle is also the first time we had one story take up an entire episode instead of splitting it up into 2 shorter stories. This really worked in its favor and made the episode a classic for years to come. Check out my review to see the whole scoop and nothing but the scoop on this great episode. Number 2, Josh and the Big Wall. This was a close call. Josh and the Big Wall is packed to the brim with VeggieTales at their finest. But what makes this episode work so well? Is it the French peas harassing Moses and his gang as they walk around Jericho?
Keep walking, but you won't knock down our wall. Keep walking, but she isn't gonna fall. It's plain to see, your brains are very small.
Is it Larry giving a slideshow about Cebu's that gets off track and leaves us wondering whatever happened?
This is a song about a boy. A song about a little boy and his Cebu's. A song about a little boy and his 3 Cebu's.
Was it them having nothing to eat but manna? A dish that is filling but bland?
For years I've eaten nothing but manna, a dish that is filling but bland.
But now we're on our way.
I'll have a cheese souffle, because we're going to the promised land.
Could it have been the French peas throwing slushies? Yes, 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 and yes. The only thing that didn't work in this episode and held it back from being the number 1 spot was Junior singing. My ears can't even handle the horror, to be honest with you. Check out my review, though, if you want to see the classic episode given its proper due. Number 1, Rakshak and Benny. Truly the pinnacle episode of the 90s, a classic Bible story updated to modern times, and it doesn't hurt that the opening song has been stuck in my head for over 20 years.
Good morning, George. How are you? I hope you're feeling fine. I'd love to stay and talk, but it's almost 8 o'clock and I haven't got the time.
The opening countertop scene has Larry with an oven mitt on his head. Like, wait, what? Hilarious, but I have so many questions. Of course, you have to love the controversy over the original Bunny song and how it was so catchy that kids were singing it around their parents. With lyrics about no church and no school, parents were understandably upset, and VeggieTales actually updated the song to fix these things and say something more appropriate. Meaning the only way to see the original Bunny song is to find a VHS copy. Of course, who can forget the dance of the cucumber and how Larry picked on Bob while dancing around him? Add in Junior, Bob, and Larry getting thrown into the fire pit and their subsequent song upon escape, and what you have is the pinnacle episode of the 90s. This really is VeggieTales at its finest, despite the low resolution and sometimes lower frame rate. My review of it is actually my most viewed episode, if that tells you anything of what others think about it. Thanks for watching, you guys. Let me know what your top 5 episodes from the 90s are down in the comments. And remember, God made you special, and he loves you very much. Bye!